That's a degree in engineering, industrial engineering. Do you see that?
I see that.
So already she meets the qualification. Now go to the next page on 271.
I see that.
Are you there?
I am there.
Now that's a diploma in mecha, not mega, mechatronics.
Mechatronics.
Now what is the relevance of that? That is the core description of this role. If you go back to the advert on 176, you will see that the core functions, what crime intelligence was looking for, is exactly this qualification. Because the description of the role tells you that they want somebody who's qualified in mechanics and electronics and all of those. Do you see those?
I see that,
Yes.
Commissioner.
Now, from 270, I don't want to show her matric certificate.
No,
It's not
yes.
fair to Ms. Mukwele, but it's on 272. Please don't flight it. It's quite clear that this is somebody who is very bright. I must say this to you. Before I saw these files, the picture painted in my head was that crime intelligence appointed a receptionist from BMW. That's the picture I had in my head. Until I saw these files, then it became clear to me that this person is not just qualified, but her qualification exceeds the requirements. Now, from 273, which we can flight, it's about 12 certificates that I've counted. Because one of the requirements was that you must be familiar with computers, you must be familiar with finance, you must be familiar with how the public service works. So there's a series of them. I counted about 12. Cybersecurity being one of.
Investigative Directorate Against Corruption, IDEC head Andrew Johnson has formally requested President Cyril Ramaphosa and National Director of Public Prosecutions (NDPP), Advocate Andy Mothibi, to release her from office within 24 hours, signaling a dramatic development for South Africa's anti-corruption agency. In his resignation letter addressed to both Ramaphosa and Mothibi, Johnson asked that the 3-month notice period stipulated in her employment contract be waived, saying an immediate departure will be in the best interest of both the institution and the country, and wrote, "Your Excellency and NDPP, I am humbly requesting you to consider my application for resignation. Whilst my contract requires a 3-month notice period, I would request both your considerations of an immediate release from office, thereby waiving the notice period." She further proposed that by mutual agreement, she should vacate her position within 24 hours of the request being approved. The National Prosecuting Authority has confirmed receipt of the resignation letter. NPA spokesperson Kaiser Kganyago said NDPP and Mothibi had received the correspondence and was currently processing the request. Johnson described the past 5 months as some of the most difficult of her 3-decade career, saying the pressure she had experienced stemmed largely from investigations conducted by IDEC into senior crime intelligence officials. According to Johnson, the criticism directed at her had reached unprecedented levels, affecting both her personality and her professional role. And so the recent 5 months or so have been challenging, and the attacks on both my personal and official capacity have been unprecedented. She argued that much of the backlash was linked to high-profile investigations involving members of crime intelligence, placing both herself and anti-corruption unit under sustained public and legal scrutiny. Johnson's resignation request comes as she continues to testify before the Matlang Commission of Inquiry, where she has faced several days of intense questioning over the conduct of IDEC investigations. Among the most serious allegations raised before the commission is a claim that Johnson shared information from an assault docket involving crime intelligence, Major General Feroz Khan, with the officer himself. When questioned on the matter, Johnson invoked her constitutional right against self-incrimination and declined to answer. The Commission has also examined the legal basis upon which IDEC initiated investigations against Crime Intelligence Head Lieutenant General Dumsan Khumalo and several other senior officials. Those investigations have become one of the central issues before the inquiry as commissioners seek to determine whether proper legal processes were followed. Evidence presented before the Commission also revealed that IDEC approached a National Coloured Congress Member of Parliament, Fadael Adams, and requested that he prepare an affidavit in terms of Section 27 of the National Prosecuting Authority Act. During her testimony, Johnson acknowledged that the Anti-Corruption Unit had indeed solicited the affidavit. The revelation added another layer of controversy to proceedings, with the Commission probing whether the process complied with legal requirements. Johnson also admitted that incorrect information had been relied upon when she authorized the prosecution of crime intelligence Brigadier Dineo Mokwele. Following that decision, Mokwele's legal representatives lodged a formal complaint against Johnson with the IDEC Ombudsman, raising concerns about the manner in which the prosecution had been approved. In her resignation letter, Johnson maintained that her decision was motivated by a desire to protect both IDEC and the National Prosecuting Authority from further reputational damage. She said the sustained criticism surrounding her leadership had shifted attention away from the institutions themselves and had begun undermining public confidence, and that the attacks in all its forms has brought an extreme amount of negative attention, not just to me, but to IDEC and the NPA. Johnson reflected on her 30 years of public service, saying she did not want her continued presence to become a liability for organizations she had devoted her career to serving, and said, "I have given 30 years of service to an organization I love dearly. I cannot be the reason that there is so much negative attention and reputational risk to IDEC and the NPA." Johnson acknowledged that the allegations against her had yet to be proven, but argued that any formal inquiry into her fitness to remain in office will consume significant public resources and further delay the work of the anti-corruption units. She warned that establishing another commission of inquiry will be costly and time-consuming, and said the allegations against me must still be proven, but that will again require the setting up of a commission and a process which is both costly and time-consuming. The country cannot afford another commission. Her comments appear to reflect growing concern over the financial and administrative burden associated with lengthy commissions of inquiry in South Africa. Johnson also disclosed that she had already submitted an application for retirement, noting that she turns 56 next month. She thanked NDPP and Motibi for supporting her retirement application, but expressed concern that approval of the process by both Motibi and President Ramaphosa could still face legal challenges. He said, "I have already put in for retirement as I am 55 years old, turning 56 next month. And DPP, I am grateful that you supported this. I've been honored to have served and want to ensure that I'm able to exit with as minimal disruption as possible." In her resignation letter, Johnson also referenced South Africa's international obligations in combating financial crime. She warned that instability within IDEC could undermine confidence in the country's anti-corruption framework at a time when South Africa remains under close international observation regarding its efforts to combat money laundering and organized crime. Although South Africa was removed from the Financial Action Task Force list of jurisdictions under increased monitoring in October 2025 and was not included on the organization's June 2026 grey list, Johnson suggested that uncertainty surrounding the leadership of IDEC could still have broader implications for the country's anti-corruption efforts. Johnson was appointed by President Ramaphosa in February 2022 to head the then investigating directorate following the departure of Hermione Cronje. Her appointment was viewed as a significant step in strengthening South Africa's fight against corruption and state capture. However, her tenure was increasingly overshadowed by legal disputes, criticism over high-profile investigations, and most recently, intense scrutiny before the Madlanga Commission. Johnson is expected to return to the Madlanga Commission on Monday, where her testimony is likely to continue as the inquiry examines the conduct of IDEC and its investigations into senior intelligence officials. What's your take on this one, people? Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more news.